When FBI agent Peter Strzok sent disparaging text messages about Donald Trump in the months before the U.S. election, he didn't think they'd become public, but they did. And now President Trump's Republican allies in Congress are holding them up as proof that Strzok and the FBI are biased against the president.
How many times did you look so innocent into your wife's eye and lie to her about Lisa?
Mr. Chairman, it's outrageous.
The credibility of a witness is always an issue.
Mr. Chairman, please.
Have you Mr. Chairman, this is intolerable harassment of the witness.
What's wrong with that? You need your medication.
Okay, then. Political analyst Peter Mathews joins us from Los Angeles. He teaches political science at Cypress College. Peter, good to have you back.
Good to be here.
Peter Strzok answered questions all day. Well, not all day, but 10 hours. There was lots of drama. We just heard it. What did we actually learn? I mean, did it bring to light anything we didn't already know?
It did not, actually. It didn't change anyone's mind either about anything that we already knew. So it was just a bunch of a visual to the world that's unbelievable to much of the rest of the world. The other countries in the world say, how do you operate like that as a nation, a democratic nation, one that has rule of law, to have air this kind of laundry? It's not even laundry. Air these facts that are just breaking down into nothing but shouting match. It's quite disgraceful all around if you think about it.
Now, Strzok made a point, and I think it was his central point, really, during those 10 hours, if you boil it down, that having an opinion on politics doesn't make you biased. Yes, he didn't favor candidate Trump, but no, it didn't taint his investigation of the Trump campaign. That's his point. What do you make of that argument?
Very important argument, because FBI officials and agents are trained to be, you know, people who are stuck to very high standards of behavior and judgment, and they are trained to not allow political bias in any way to get in the way of investigative action, because the investigation cannot be in any way tainted. And this is something that's intrinsic. That's what Strzok was saying, that he was also, for 20 years, an agent. He's gone through that training, and something like that would not get in the way of his judgments on the investigation. I think it's quite credible what he said, but certainly the other side will not believe it or will not accept it.
Well, let me channel the words of the U.S. president there via a tweet it's just over a day old now. How can the rigged witch hunt proceed when it was started, influenced, and worked on for an extended period of time by former FBI agent and lover Peter Strzok? Read his hate-filled and totally biased emails, and the answer is clear. Now, Peter, it's true that if you read Strzok's messages, those about Trump, it is clear that he doesn't like Trump.
It certainly is very clear, but he was actually taken off of the investigation by Robert Mueller once these things became public. He wasn't on the investigation that long, and the fact that he was removed from it shows that the self-cleansing of the FBI itself worked quite well, and those statements that he made were, in fact, on the surface, very biased, and you could see that. But there was action taken regarding that, and you put that together with the training the FBI has to not let personal opinion bias your judgment investigation. I think it's a much ado about nothing, really, and I think Trump is trying to use it to deflect the attention from the investigation on him that's being going on by Mr. Mueller and others.
So about that, all in all, do you think that this Strzok hearing, and we showed it on TV, Americans could see it all day long, do you think that helped the president's efforts to discredit the Russia investigation?
I think he's going to try to use it for that. And it's possible with some people who watch it, there'll be some of that, you know, the investigation tainted to some extent. But overall, the investigation that Mr. Mueller is doing is not going to be affected by this. It's continuing, and we don't even know how many people Mr. Mueller has actually spoken to who are very important people. There have been several people who have pleaded guilty who are connected to this whole investigation, and that should be a warning right there. The president's not out of the woods yet. So it should be very interesting to watch the next few weeks and see how they develop.
All right, Peter Mathews, as always, thank you for joining us on the show. We'll talk to you a little later. Thanks.
Thank you, Cyril.